ॐ वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपात्तमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम् देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Second chapter, 67th shloka. Can repeat. Indriyanam hi charatam
इन्द्रियाणां हि चरताम्
यन्मनो विधीयते
यन्मनो न विधीयते
तदस्य हरति प्रज्ञाम्
तदस्य हरति प्रज्ञाम्
वायुर्नावमिवाम्भसि
वायुर्नावमिवाम्भसि
तस्माद्यस्य महाबाहो
तस्माद्यस्य महाबाहो
निगृहीतानि सर्वशः
निगृहीतानि सर्वशः
इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः
इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः
तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता
तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता
या निशा सर्वभूतानां
या निशा सर्वभूतानां
तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी
तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी
यस्यां जागृति भूतानि
यस्यां जागृति
सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः
सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः.
So this we saw the last class. So the last shloka is an important shloka that distinguishes a jnani and an ajnani. Jnanis are awake. They are awake, and ajnanis are they are sleeping. Jnanis are awake to this Advaita Paramartha Tattva. They see that I, the individual, the Jivatma, is not separate from the Paramatma, who is the cause for this Jagat. The Jagat Karanam Ishvaraha. Jagat Karanam Ishvaraha Agam Eva. So here is na binnaha, is not different from me. So therefore, everything is Ishvara. Therefore, non-duality, Advaita, this Advaita Drishti, this vision, this Advaita, the Drishti, the vision of Advaita, the Jnanam of this Advaita, the Advaita Jnanam, they are awake. They are awake to this knowledge. This knowledge alone makes a person free from limitations. The limitation is adhyaropitam, it is superimposed. Really, there are no limitation. Limitations are not real. They are not real, unreal. They are kalpita, adhyaropita, they are superimposed. Taking oneself to be a limited jiva is ajnanam. Not knowing the swarupa of oneself, the nature of oneself, the reality of oneself, confining oneself to this sharira manasanghata, this body mind sense complex. Whatever the experience, the bodily experiences or the experiences gained through senses, it taken to be one's own experience, attributing the properties of the body mind senses on oneself, the Atma, and similarly attributing the Chetanatvam to this Achetana body mind senses, taking myself to be a limited individual, confined by the boundaries of this, the body, boundary of the body, this boundary is a skin. Therefore, I become limited, a limited being. Therefore, I am separate from you. I am separate from everything in the world. Therefore, I become small. Therefore, I am insignificant being. That is a limitation. That is the limitation. That is not real. It is caused by ajnanam, ignorance. And that is samsara. And that is what is samsara is. Samsara is, I want to be free from limitation. That is that wanting to be free is mumuksha. Moktum icha mumuksha, wanting to be free. Wanting to be free means how to be free. To be free from, to be free means not to give up the body. There is no outside the body experiences. Any experience is limited only, whether it is with the body or without body. There is no unlimited experience. Any anubhava is going to be a limited. Being anubhava, being an experience. An experience involves three things: the experiencer, the experienced, and the experience. Triputi Veda, the threefold differences are there. Then only any experience is possible. Sukha Anubhava or Dukkha Anubhava, being an experience, where these three things are involved. They are only experiences. I want moksha as an experience, not possible. Wanting to be free, that freedom as an experience, not possible. Freedom is not an experience. It is your reality. I am not free. That is ajnana. That ajnanam only is a cause for problem. Samsara problem. Therefore, for that ajnanam to go, that we need jnanam. And the jnanam doesn't produce any new experience. If it produces experience, then it is not really jnanam. Therefore, jnanam is opening your eyes, not the physical eyes. Opening your eyes means your vision. Opening your eyes, the vision, to see that everything is myself. When you say everything is myself, that everything, the word also is a limited word in a sense. Because there are many things, therefore you have to say everything, many things. There is nothing called every because we see so many things in the world, objects and things and people, therefore we say everything. There is no every. In fact, there is no word every. But everything is also a relative word. We have to use some words. Without words, how to convey? So therefore, and already we have some preconceived that notion, that orientation is there. Therefore, we are negating that you are not limited by anything. Therefore, everything is you, not limited by anything. Everything is you, Ishvara. How everything can be you? How can the world, everything means the Jagat, the universe? Please keep your mic in mute. How can everything be you? You being a limited individual confined by this body, mind, senses. So when everything be you, when we say, you have to drop that notion with regard to this body, mind, senses, dropping that in terms of our understanding, minus this. Then minus this, what is left out? Minus this is you only. You without any of this adhyaropita, this kalpita, the attributes. All these are limited. Body is defined, limited. Mind, senses. This limits you, the unlimited. The unlimited you is as though limited. If you are unlimited means purnam, you are complete. There is no lack, there is no want, there is no insufficiency, there is no inadequacy. That is what you is. Therefore, we say Satchit Ananda, you are happiness, you are Purnaha iti. So, on that, unlimited, this limited or adhyaropita. Unlimited cannot be limited. It is not possible. but that is made possible because of, as though made possible because of, it is not possible really, it is as though made possible. The impossible is as though made possible because of not knowing, ajnanam. Because of this dvaita drishti, this dvaita jnanam. So when you see yourself as this body, mind, senses, limited by the body, mind, senses, then you become two. You become two, you become limited. When two things are there, it is limited only. When two are not there, when there is only one, only when there is only one, that one also you are talking about one in terms of two. Two has to be negated, therefore we say non-duality. In fact, the word advaitam, nadvaitam, advaitam. There is no duality. Because the concept of two is there, the idea of two is there. Therefore, that has to be negated. Therefore, we add a nunch, say advaitam, non-duality. There is no duality. What is there is only advaitam, non-duality. So duality is a cause for samsara. So that is what we are arrived at. Duality is a cause for problem. Duality is a cause for my bondage. Duality limits me. And that duality is not real. It is unreal. And that unreal duality is real for ajnanis. Real for ajnani. Ajnanis are awake to that unreal reality. Whereas jnanis, they know it is ajnanam, they are not awake to that. They are not awake to that. They are awake to the non-dual reality. That is a reality. They are awake to that. They are awake to that jnanam. Therefore, they are free. Therefore, they are free. They enjoy freedom. Freedom while living in the world. Not bound by any sukha dukkha anubhava. Because this anubhava comes only when there is a perception of duality. And there is a conclusion of duality. When Advaita is my understanding, it is my vision, then all the duality experiences, they are like the experience as in a swapna. It is not real. For a jnani, it is not real. For a ajnani, it is real. Therefore, jnanis are those, they are awake to this Advaita darshanam, the vision of non-duality. And ajnanis, they are asleep. They are ignorant with regard to that reality. Therefore, they are sleeping. That is nisha for them. So, therefore, two contrasting things are presented. Jnani, Sanyami, that Sanyami is Jnani here in the shloka. Sanyami Jagarti. Sanyami Jagarti. A Jnani is awake to that Paramartha Tattvam, the Advaita Tattvam, whereas this Ajnanis are sleeping. Whereas Ajnanis are awake to Bhutani Jagrati. We are awake to Ajnanam. Ajnanis are awake to Ajnanam. Jnanis are awake to Jnanam. Jnanam is a reality. Ajnanam is not real, unreal. So they are awake to the unreal reality. It is real for them, but it is really unreal. From the standpoint of the absolute, it is unreal. So now when we say this, jnanis are awake to this Advaita Darshanam Drishti, when we say, doesn't mean they don't see the world, they don't perceive the world, they don't transact. No, that is not what we say. They do transaction, they have transaction with the world, understanding that world, the Jagat is not real. Like Like when you wake up from the sleep, the Swapna Prapancha, the dream world, you understand it to be unreal. Similarly, the Jnanis are awake to this dream. They are awake from this dream. Ajnanis are still in the dream. They are not awake. Jnanis are awake. Therefore, this Jagat, this Anubhava will not create any tension in the person, will not create any agitation in the Jnani. That is why Jnani is always calm, quiet, very composed. That is how Shastra describes Jnani, and that is how we perceive a Jnani also. But we cannot confine Jnani to only a particular description. A Jnani being free, he can be the way he likes, he wants to be. There is somewhere it is said in the Shastram, sometimes a Jnani can behave like a child. Sometimes he behaves like a murka. Sometimes he behaves like an intoxicated person. So you cannot confine the behavior of a Jnani to a particular behavioral pattern. Again, that is confining the Jnani. He is free. Whatever he is above, dharma, adharma. Dharma atitaha, adharma atitaha. So what can bound him? There is no dharma or adharma really for that person, really for a Jnani. And therefore one cannot evaluate the Jnani by one's own standard, because a Jnani is above. But still here Arjuna he wants to know. Therefore, Bhagavan gives the Sita Prajna Lakshanam. Therefore, even though the Jnani live in the world and live like any of the Jiva in the world, he lives in the world, and he has to have transaction with the world, because yes, the body has to survive. With the body, he doesn't have abhimana. He doesn't have the abhimana, the misplaced abhimana, the identification with the body, like the Ajnanis have. He knows the body is a thing given to him. It has to sustain. It has to live as long as it has been. As long as it has to live. As long as the karma has to exhaust, so long the body has to sustain in the world. So therefore he lives in this shariram, knowing very well that this sharira anubhava, this anubhava again through the indriya, the transaction with the world, all this anubhava, for a Ajnani it creates agitation, but for a Jnani it doesn't create anything. Like an Ajnani, all the Indriya Vishaya, is Indriyas grab. Indriyas that is sense organs are meant to know the sense objects. So Indriya Vishaya flow towards the sense organs. That is common for a Jnani and Ajnani. But there is a difference. This flow of sense organs, the flow of sense objects, do not create any dent in the Jnani. Flow of sense objects, what I mean is the experience, the anubhava, that doesn't create any dent, any agitation in the Jnani. It means it doesn't cause any desire, it doesn't cause any urge or pressure to do something. It doesn't cause any desire in the person, because he has achieved what is to be achieved. He is kritakrityaha. The purpose of life is achieved. Nothing needs to be accomplished to make himself complete. So therefore, any amount of the objects flowing into that person will not create any agitation in the person as it does in the case of Ajnani. That is what the next shloka, Bhagavan Krishna says. It's a beautiful shloka, we will read. आपूर्यमाणमचलप्रतिष्ठम्
आपूर्यमाणमचलप्रतिष्ठम्
समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत्
समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यत्
तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे
तद्वत्कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे
स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी
शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी
the jnani, the Sanyami, the Jnani, the Muni, the Sthitaprajna, Sthitadhi, any name you call, is compared to a Samudra, is compared to the Sagara, the ocean. There is a similarity between the ocean and the Jnani. Ocean is vast. It is unlimited. Unlimited in the sense there is nothing in the world comparable to the ocean. It is unlimited. Unlimited not in the sense, not in the real sense. Unlimited means it is infinite. It is vast. Because it is vast, it is spread, therefore it is Purnaha. From this shore of the ocean, you cannot see the other shore. Therefore, it is vast. It is widespread. It is the borders cannot see. There is the boundary cannot be seen. Like you see the boundary of a small pond. From one side of the pond, you can see the other side. The boundary you can see. For ocean, you cannot see. It is vast. Therefore, it is Purnaha. It is complete. The ocean is complete. And the ocean has got all the waters in it. All the waters of the world, the rivers, water from the rivers, they get into the ocean. So the ocean, because the rivers keep entering, the ocean water doesn't change. Because the ocean is Purnaha, always it is complete, Purnaha. The ocean water, the river water doesn't make the ocean water complete. River waters, they enter the ocean and become one with the ocean. Therefore, the ocean, the river is Purnaha. The ocean is Purnaha. And the ocean is, in fact, ocean provides water for the rivers and the lakes. The water from the ocean only gets evaporated, and that gives water to the rivers. So, what the ocean doesn't expect or doesn't depend on rivers for water. In fact, ocean provides water for the river. So, therefore, ocean is nirapekshaha, it is free. It is not dependent. Ocean is not dependent on river. It is free. Then all the rivers, they enter the ocean, and what happened to the river? When Ganga enters the ocean, it becomes ocean. There is no Ganga water. Similarly, when Kaveri enters, it becomes the ocean. It becomes Samudra only. So, all the rivers entering into the ocean, they lose their Nama and Rupa. They become one with the ocean, and there is no Nama. We cannot call it as a Ganga or Narmada or Kaveri, because everything is. Similarly, Jnani is also Purnaha, like a Samudra. Jnani is also Purnaha. He is complete, as the ocean is complete, adequate. Similarly, the Jnani is Purnaha. As the ocean do not depend on rivers, it is Nirapekshaha, it is free. Similarly, Jnani also doesn't depend on anything for his purnatvam, for his completeness, for his adequacy. He is complete because he is complete. As the ocean is complete, so too the Jnani is also Purnaha. Therefore, being complete, therefore, there is no dependency for a Jnani. Dependency on what? Dependency on the external objects or persons to be Purnaha, to be complete, to be happy. And as the river enter all the rivers enter the ocean and lose the Nama Rupa. Similarly, all the Anubhava of the world, the experience of the world, they enter the Jnani. All the Shubha Anubhava or Ashubha Anubhava, Dukkha Anubhava or Sukha Anubhava, any Anubhava. Tulya Ninda Sutir Moni, Santushto Yena Kenachit, whether it is criticism or praise, Mana or Apamana, Labha or Alabha, whatever may be, the Anubhava, they enter the Jnani, and it gets resolved. It doesn't create any dent in the Jnani. It just enters the Jnani and becomes calm and becomes specified. It doesn't create any reaction in the Jnani. When the Sukha Anubhava comes, it doesn't get elated. When Dukkha Anubhava comes, it doesn't get depressed also. So all the Anubhava, they enter the Jnani and they become pacified, they become calm, they become resolved. Doesn't create any agitation in the Jnani. Because he knows the Anubhava is, being Anubhava, they are limited, doesn't cause it doesn't cause Purnatvam in me, because already I am Purnaha, already I am complete. What can this Anubhava really do? They really cannot do any favor, and they cannot take away the Purnatvam from me also. They cannot take away the happiness, what I am, not I have, I am. Happiness, I am happiness. That is the difference between Jnani and Ajnani. Ajnani search for the happiness. I want to have happiness, but Jnani says, I am happiness. I want happiness, I have happiness. That is the difference between Jnani and Ajnani. When you say, I want happiness, it means you want happiness through the objects or the persons. You want happiness, Anubhava. When you say, I am happiness, where are the objects? Where is the second thing? The second thing is not required for happiness. You say, I am. That is my Swarupa by nature. Aham Purnaha. So that is the difference between a Jnani and an Ajnani. So therefore, the ocean, Samudra, Drishtanta, Bhagavan Krishna gives here. So Jnani is compared to the Samudra, which is complete, irrespective of whether water goes away from it or water enters it. It completely remains undisturbed. It is complete and completely remains undisturbed. What? The ocean. Similarly, Jnani also. Jnani also is not complete because of the sense objects, Indriya Vishaya. He knows that he is fullness, he is happiness. That is because of Jnanam. So, therefore, apaha pravishanti samudram. Yadvat apaha samudram pravishanti. Just as apaha is water. Pravishanti samudram. As the water enters into the river, samudram pravishanti. Apaha bhagavachanam. Apaha pravishanti. Nitya bhagavachanam. The water is always plural. For this shabda, up shabda, it is plural. Jalam is the jalam jale jalani. That can be declined in all the vachanam. But here, apaha is nitya bhagavachanam. It is always plural, that particular shabda. So, apaha pravishanti. Kutra samudram pravishanti. Yata Apaha samudram pravishanti. Apuryamanam api. Apuryamanam api. This samudra is already complete. It is apuryamanam is it is up to the brim. It is full. It is full. Apuryam, like the glass is full up to the brim. Similarly, samudra is full. The samudra which is complete, apuryamanam samudram, apaha pravishanti. Yatha, as the water from different sources, from rivers, etc., they flow into the ocean, which is apuryamanam, which is complete. And it is achalam, achala pratishta, achala pratishtam. Chala means movement. Achala is no movement, no motion. And it is achala pratishtam means it remains steady. Because the water enters the ocean doesn't shake itself. It doesn't get agitated. It remains steady. For the ocean, this water is nothing, a small inlet through the tap. It's like a small inlet to the tap. Ocean is so big. What can this water, this river water or any water can do? So it remains well established, achala pratishtam, very steady. So therefore, the entry of water cannot create any disturbance in the river, in the ocean. Similarly, tadvat, similarly, this is a drishtanta. This is the drishtanta, the example. Now the dashtanta, how the ocean is compared, how Jnani is compared to the ocean and Jnani is described. Similarly, tadvat, kamaha, pravishanti, tadvat, kamaha yam pravishanti. Kamaha means here it is indriya vishaya, sense objects. Kamaha pravishanti, the objects of this sense experiences enter into this person, the Jnani, pravishanti. Sarve kamaha yam pravishanti, yam jnaninam pravishanti. Into Jnani, these objects, the indriya vishayas, they enter. What happened to those objects? Sarve kamaha yam pravishanti, saha shantim apnoti. Saha shantim apnoti. Even though all the sensory experiences enter the person, enter the person remains unchanged. Saha shantim apnoti. Apnoti means he gains, but here it is not gaining. He continues to remain in. Apnoti. Apnoti literally means gaining. Labate. But here there is no gaining. There is no gaining. He continues to be. He continues to be what? Shanti. Enjoys his shanti. Saga shantim apnoti. Is not disturbed. Is not perturbed by the inflow of these kamaha, the vishayas, the sensory experiences. Saga shantim apnoti. Saga referring to the Jnani. Jnani gains shanti. He gains shanti means not because of the entry of or inflow of this sense objects. He continues to enjoy his shanti. That is how we have to take. Otherwise, this anubhava comes and the person enjoys shanti. The meaning becomes contradictory to what the description of a jnani is. So that is not the meaning. Saha shantim apnoti is saha swasmin swarupe avatishtati. He remains in its swarupa. Its swarupa doesn't change. Whereas that is not the case with the kamakami. Kamakami referring to a samsari. Kamakami is one. Kamam kamayante. Kamam kamayate te kamakami. The one who are after the indriya vishaya, sense objects. They are kamakami samsari. It is not in the case of samsari, because in the case of them, this indriya vishaya, the flow of indriya vishaya will create tremendous disturbance, tremendous agitation. So therefore, the jnani enjoys freedom, continues to enjoy freedom, irrespective of the Indriya Vishaya flowing into them like like a ocean which remains undisturbed. Similarly, the jnani remains undisturbed in spite of the anubhava in the world, whereas a kamakami, an ajnani, is continued to tossed up and down in the world because of various anubhava experiences. Therefore, he is a samsari. Kamakami samsari, jnani asamsari, muktaha. So this is one of the lakshanam of a Sthita Prajna. Then the next shloka. Vihaya kaman yes sarvan.
Vihaya kaman sarvan.
Umans charati nisprigaha.
Charati nispraha.
Nirmamo nirahankaraha.
Nirmamo nirahankaraha.
Sashantimadi gacchati.
Shantim adhigati.
So, yaha sarvan kaman vihaya. Sarvan kaman vihaya. Vihaya is not chaturthi. Vihaya is the upasarga hadatu lyapratya oha tyage. So it is avyayam. Vihaya. Vihaya, having given up what kaman, all the kaman referring to the indriya vishaya, sense objects. Sense objects for all the pancha indriya, shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. These are the indriya vishaya, sarvan kaman, yaha vihaya, the one who has given up the indriya vishaya. It means what? Here kaman referring can mean the desires. Kama can be desire, kama can be the sense objects. Here we can take kaman to be the desire. The desires for the desired objects. So yaha kaman vigaya, the one who has given up the desire for the sense objects. For what? For one's fulfillment. For the sense of fulfillment, for the sense of this adequacy, the one who has given up. It means it doesn't depend on the indriya, the vishaya. So the one who has given up the desire for the indriya vishaya, who doesn't depend on any objects or any desires. Sometimes we feel complete, we feel relatively okay, not complete, relatively we feel only when we have certain desires. A jnani, he doesn't have any desire. He is free from desires and therefore he is free from hunting for desired, this indriya vishaya, the objects. Only those who have desires, they go after for indriya vishaya. A jnani is free from desire, therefore he doesn't go after indriya vishaya, the objects. So, what are the desires possible in general? In general, what are the desires possible for a person? Putraishana, Vittaishana, Lokeshana. Yeshana Trayam. Yeshana Trayam is there. These threefold desires are there. One is the desire for the son. Desire for the son, that is one desire. Vitta is wealth, desire for wealth. And Lokeshana is desire for loka, swarga loka, after maranam, the loka where we go, where we want to go, not where we go, where we would like to go, swarga loka, etc. Or lokeshana could be here in this loka, in this janma itself, I want to enjoy a name, fame, the status, all those things. So one is putra, other one is vitta, other one is loka. The three-fold desires. All the desires can be, we can put it into these three, any one of these three. This putreshana also is not only desiring for progeny, and after that struggling to make them independent. That is another big struggle. To make them independent and to make them see flourishing in life. All the desires are there. That desire doesn't stop only with the birth of the son or daughter. It continues. The desire, it's a lifelong desire. Then the desire for money, artha is required, but how much? There's no limit for that artha. Therefore, that also binds a person. And other one is loka. When putreshana, when putra and vitta are accomplished, then the desire for name and fame and desire to continue this sukha in the next loka. So all these things are there, the threefold desires. The threefold desires, the one who has given up. Having given up the threefold desires, yaha kaman, these threefold desires given up, nispragaha charanti. Nispragaha, spragha means the longing. Spragha means the longing. Nispragaha means no longing. No longing for the objects because it doesn't have desire. Spragha not there. So nispragaha, spragha referring to the things for which towards which he has got desire, or he may think that may require for survival, even that also. Jnani, he doesn't accomplish anything for its survival. Yes, he surrenders him to his Ishvara. So as the karma takes him, so he goes. So it doesn't gain anything for even for its survival. So therefore, the objects of the desire could be the objects required for one's survival. Even that is not there for a jnani. So therefore, nispragaha, no longing, no pressure in the person, no pressure, no inner urge to accomplish things, even for survival. Nispragaha, charati, yaga puman charati, sarvan kaman vigaya, having given up all the desires, yaga puman is person, manushyaha. Puman is masculine. But masculine, not only men, it means everybody, men or women. Puman means person. The one who nispragaha, who has given up the desires, who is free from whom all these desires have gone, and who has given up all the desires, and nirbamaha, there is no mamakara, there is no mamatvam. This mamakara is this abhimana. This mamakara is certain things you say it as it is mama, mindness, that is mamakara. This mamakara and agankara, nirahankara, mamakara and nirahankara. Mamakara is mama is mind. Nirmama is without the sense of mind. And nirahankara is this ahankara. Ahankara is not loosely translated as ego. It means ahankara is confining oneself to be the limited. That is ahankara. It is not really ego. It is here ahankara is that confining oneself to be a limited person. That's ahankara. When one confines oneself to be limited, when ahankara is there, then mamakara also comes. Mamakara is you take certain things to be yours, mine iti. Mama shariram, mama putraha, mama griham, all these mamakara. You claim all these things are yours, mine, mine iti. That is mine. So mamakara. So opposite of that, nirmamaha. Opposite of agankara, nirahankara. Because he knows these are mithya. Ahankara is also mithya. This agankara, that is a sense of this limited I-ness, that is also mithya. That is not real because I is unlimited. Therefore, agankara not there. Agankara not there for this person whom we are talking about, jnani. So, yaha nirmamaha niragankaraha, the one without the sense of mind, without the sense, limited sense of I, the one who is nisprigaha, free from desires, having given up all the desires, yaha sarvan kaman vigaya. Therefore, nisprigaha, there is no priga, longing for objects or longing for desires. Longing for, there is no longing in the person. Therefore, there is no pressure in the person. Is enjoys complete peace, complete freedom. That person shanti adhigacchati. That person alone will gain shanti. Where here in this world itself he gains shanti. For shanti, you don't have to get transported to the other world. Here itself, saha shantim adhigacchati. All the struggles of life will become pacified. It gets pacified, it gets resolved, and the person gets shanti. Gets shanti means he discovers himself to be a shantaha. He discovers his reality, his nature to be shantaha, shantim adhigacchati. All the samsara comes to end. Samsara is struggle. So all the struggling comes to end for this person who is free from mamakara, who is free from agankara, who doesn't have spriha, the longing for anything, and who has given up this threefold desires. So having given up all these things, he enjoys complete shanti, complete happiness. Saga shantim adhigacchati. So he gains shanti, he gains moksha. Shanti is moksha. Moksha is here and now. While living itself, he becomes free. Shantim adhigacchati. So Bhagavan praises the status of such a person, jnani. Saha shantim adhigacchati. In fact, that shanti is myself. Bhagavan later he says that that person is not different from me. He is myself. Is myself means he discovers himself to be that. He understands himself to be that which is free from problem, which is free from samsara. Who is that? That is myself. Agam Brahma iti. That jnanam is there. That aikya jnanam is there. The Jiveshwara aikyam jnanam is there. Therefore, he becomes shantaha. Therefore, he is a jnani. That jnani only I likes. Bhagavan in later will say, jnani tu atmaiva me matam. Jnani tu atmaiva me matam. Jnani is one who I like more than any other bhaktas. Jnani is the highest bhakta. Jnani is the highest bhakta. Among all the bhaktas, there are different types of bhakta. Artha bhakta, artharthi bhakta, different bhaktas are there. In that grade, this jnani, he comes first because he is the one who really understands what Bhagavan is, who Parameshwara is. Therefore, he gains shanti, and shanti is a swarupam of Ishvara. So, shantim adhigacchati means saha paramatmanam avagacchati. What atmatvena? It's myself, as oneself. As oneself, Ishvara, Paramatma as oneself, he understands. That understanding is shanti. That understanding is what makes the person free from the struggles of the samsara. Therefore, shantim adhigacchati iti. Adhigacchati means it is not, it is adhigacchati means gains, labate, but it is not something he gains physically. He discovers. He discovers himself to be that which is of the nature of shanti, which is of the nature of peace, which is of the nature of freedom. Therefore, Bhagavan here he praises the Jnani. Jnani is the one who really enjoys this shanti. Then the last shloka of this chapter. Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha.
Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha.
Nainam Prapya Vimukhyati.
Nainam Prapya Vimukshati.
Stitva Syamantakaalepi. Brahma Nirvana Mrichyati.
Brahma Nirvana Vrichati.
So here in this shloka, Bhagavan Krishna says, this He Partha, addressing Arjuna, He Partha, Esha Brahmi Sthitihi. This Brahmi Sthiti is this condition, this state. The Brahmi Sthitihi, the state of being in this Brahma. Brahma is Paramatma Ishvara. Brahma is that the truth, the reality. So Brahmi Sthitihi. So remaining in Brahma, it means understanding oneself to be Brahma. That is Brahmi Sthiti. Esha Brahmi Sthitihi. Enam Prapya. Enam Prapya na Vimukyati. This Brahmi Sthitihi, having this Sitaprajna, Brahmi Sthitihi, this status, the state of being in Brahma, Enam Prapya, having gained this, na Vimukyati, it doesn't get deluded. There is no moha for that person who has gained this status of being Brahmas. Your status is not, again, here it is not physically gained. It is discovering oneself to be that Brahma, which is free, whose Swarupa is free, freedom. So discovering that, Enam Prapya, Prapya is, it is not, again, it is not gaining literally in the physical sense. It is Avagamya, having understood. Having understood, na Vimugyati is not deluded. Therefore, so having gained this Brahmi Sthiti is this Brahmanishta, that Jnananishta, the Atmanishta. The person is not deluded. Sthitva Syam Antakalepi Brahma Nirvanam Richati. So remaining in this Brahmanishta, Antakalepi, even in the last stage of life, he becomes free. Brahma Nirvanam Richati. Remaining in this Brahmanishta, even in the last stage of life, he becomes Brahma Nirvanam Richati. Richati means Gachati. He attains Brahma Nirvanam. So, here Brahmi Sthiti means Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti means while living is free. While living, how can he be free? Because he has got knowledge. What knowledge? Agam Brahma Asmi Iti, that Jnanam is there. So that Jnanam, that Drishti, the vision is there for the Jnani. That is what we say, Brahmi Sthiti is established in Brahma. That established is not a right word. We loosely use. What is it? Established? That he has got the vision. He has got the understanding that Agam Brahma Iti. That is what is Sthiti, Brahmi Sthiti. So once he has gained this Jnanam, it doesn't become deluded. By this Dehatma Buddhi, it doesn't get deluded. So there is no delusion, there is no moha for this person. So therefore, he continue to enjoy freedom while living. And what happens to him at the end, after this body, or at the last moment of the life, what happens to him? Till the last seconds, he is Jivan Mukta, while living is free. And after death, at the time of death or after death, he becomes Videha Mukta. He continues to be free. Without Deha, without body. With body, he is free while living. Without body, he continues to be free. So here Bhagavan Krishna says, Sitvasya Vantakalepi Brahma Nirvana Vichati. Even in the last second moment of your life, if you gain this jnanam, if you gain this jnanam, and if you become a Jivan Mukta, even at the last moment of life, if you gain this jnanam, and after that you become free, Videha Muktaha Bhavati. So, knowledge at any point of time in life, whether it is in the beginning of life or in the middle of life or even at the end of life, even at the end of the Bhagavan giving the scope, even at the end of life, if you gain this Brahmi Sthiti, Stitva Asyam Antakale Api. Antakale is, Anta is end. Antakala is at the Maranakala, at the time of death. At the time of death, if you gain this jnanam, if you gain this jnanam, if you become a Jivan Mukta, then after Antakala, that is after Maranam, Brahma Nirvanam Richati. He gains Brahma Nirvanam. It means he becomes free. Brahma is freedom. Brahma Nirvanam is he becomes free. So, therefore, the whole lifespan is there. At any point of time in life, when this jnanam is gained and you have this vision, understanding, you become a Jivan Mukta. Once you become a Jivan Mukta, while living you are free. And what to talk about after Maranam? You continue to enjoy your freedom without body. It means with body or without body, you are free. You are already free. So this mukti, this Jivan Mukti, it is possible. It is possible even at the time of death. Bhagavan says, even at the time of death, even at the end of one's life, practicing this Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam, even at the time of death, one becomes free. Once the person gains jnanam, he becomes a Jivan Mukta, and after Maranam, he continues to be free. Videha Muktaha Bhavati. So, therefore, and in the life of Parikshit, how much time, how many days or how many years it took to gain moksha? Parikshit was the only person who within a week, yes, particular time, only 1 week was given. Only 7 days were given. Within 7 days, he got moksha. Parikshit, because he knows that he is going to die within a week. So within 7 weeks, he got moksha. How? He prepared himself for jnanam, gained jnanam. At the time of death, he gained jnanam, and after death, he became free, like King Parikshit. So it is possible. That possibility, Bhagavan Krishna says. Therefore, this Brahmi Sthiti is possible for every person, and it can be attained while living, and after living, the person becomes free. If he doesn't get freedom, what happens with the person? The person comes back again. It takes next janma. And if he is a sadhaka in this janma, has not accomplished Then again he comes back. In the next Janma, he takes birth in a good family, in a family where there is the spiritual thinking, the spiritual inclination in that family. Later, Bhagavan Krishna says in the 6th chapter, he will take Janma in the family of yogis. He will take Janma and continue his pursuit of Jnanam and becomes free. Therefore, nothing is wasted. Whatever investment is made in spiritual life, it is never wasted. Investment in material life will go. It comes and go. That is their nature. But investment in spiritual life will never go waste. It will definitely have its result. It is highly productive. It is going to give its dividend. In fact, into a greater extent, more than what we can imagine. So a little effort, a little effort while living, a little the effort, that effort has to be the effort what we put in the as a sadhaka while living. That effort will produce multiple result by tapping the grace of Ishvara, by making the sadhaka take birth in a better family, better country. The country, the family, everything is important. To be born in a country like India is, for the person must have done some punyam. To be born in Afghanistan, definitely some punyam is required to be born as a human being. But because in Afghanistan, therefore, papam is there. So the place of birth, the place of the parentage, everything because of punya. And the Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, the Shastra Shravanam also gives punyam. Some spiritual inclination is there. That is why people listen to the Shastram. And listening to Shastram itself gives punyam. So there is punyam is there. The punya palam. The punya palam will continue to drive the person to the destination, that is moksha, whether in this life or next life. But the journey is taken care by Bhagavan if we are on the right path. The right path means if we are dedicated to this spiritual journey, then the result will come. Bhagavan will take care. And Bhagavan also, he assures in the Gita itself. In the Gita itself, Bhagavan assures, Durgatim tatana gacchati. My bhaktas will never fall into Durgati. They will not attain any bad status in life. They continue to improve spiritually. So spiritual progress is assured for a sadhaka. There is no downfall. We use the word brashta, yoga brashta. Yoga brashta is the person who is not able to achieve the purpose, achieve the goal in this life. He is a brashta, yoga brashta. He comes back. He comes back in the next janma and continue the pursuit. So therefore, the door is always open. Our journey continues, irrespective of whether we reach the end, this life or next life or any life. But that being the goal, that being the purushartha, when the purushartha nishchaya is there, then the goal is as good as achieved. That assurance Bhagavan gives. So with this, we will conclude the second chapter of the Gita. Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat.
Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu. Upanishadsu. Brahma Vidyayam. Yoga Shastre. Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. Sankhya Yogo Nama. Dvitiyodhyayah. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुस्वरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।
धन्यवाद गुरुजी।
धन्यवाद
गुरुभ्यो नमः।
हरि ओम गुरुजी, धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद शरण जी।
धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद।